It's a Teen Talks Kitten podcast where I embarrass myself. Hello, and welcome to episode number 121 of a Teen Talks Kitten podcast. My name is Van Gogh. I hope you guys are all doing very well. It's been such a tiring week. Been a very lazy week, honestly. I've literally been lazy and there's been stuff to do at the same time. But I don't know. I only have one more week of school, so yay me. I hope you guys are also finishing up school or at least maybe getting a break from work if you work. Yes. Anyway, make sure you follow, share, and like a Teen Talks King podcast because I don't know. I always sound cringy saying that, but they tell me to say that. So I should probably listen to the experts of podcast marketing and management. Anywho, hope you guys are doing very well. Song recommendation: Olivia Rodrigo's new song, "The Cure," is so good. It's so good and it's so sad, and I feel like everyone should listen to it because I don't know. So yeah, but yeah, I hope you guys are doing very well. This is kind of a fun episode we have going on today. Not a fun episode, but just an episode I put together kind of quickly because I don't know, it's just something fun to do. But yeah, I don't know. It's been a week for sure. Very tired, but I hope you guys enjoy this episode. And yeah, let's head over to our program of the week, which is a very nice program. Program of the week. Okay, everybody, this is our program of the week segment, and the program of the week this week is one of those programs where I truly feel you could pause at any moment in the video, or you could pause at any moment in general, and you could take just a beautiful picture of the two skaters here. This is an ice dance routine, an ice dance gala, actually coming from the 1998 Winter Olympics gala. We have Anesina and Pesrat and their gala to Time to Say Goodbye, performed by Sarah Brightman and Andrea Bocelli. Beautiful song, obviously. We know it. We love Time to Say Goodbye. Of course, we remember recently, of course, Kari Sakamoto's performance of Time to Say Goodbye. But Marina Anesina and Gwendol Pesrat were also doing it back in 1998 at the Winter Olympics in their gala performance. And this is just acrobatics and dance combined together. I truly think it is beautiful to watch. They start off kind of interesting. She is kind of standing up, he is laying down. She kind of lays on top of him and they almost kiss, but then they don't. And they flip over, so then he's on top of her, and then they try to make it look like she's like carrying him up or she's holding him up by his knee. Very beautiful, interesting moment. They go into some crossovers, and this is my favorite moment of the program in the very beginning where she is lifted backwards and he kind of flips her over, and then he intentionally lets her fall slowly, gracefully until she's literally on the ice. She's being dragged on the ice as he skates forward. It's a beautiful moment of just allowing her to fall from his back, but it's like controlled and sustained, and so it's a beautiful moment. Um, there's a moment in this program where they have very fast footwork and they're looking at each other and they're twisting this way and they're twisting that way and they're touching each other's hair. It's very tensuous. It's very tense, but a beautiful moment nonetheless. We also have beautiful moments in kind of just some of the basic lifts, not even basic lifts. These are lifts, but they're complicated. There's a lift where she just is thrown into his arms, and it's a rotational lift, but it's super wild rotational lift. Another moment where she's kind of in this, I don't know, pirouette moment, standing on his right knee, and she's kind of having one blade there and then one blade back, and she's arching her back, kind of pirouette like. There's a beautiful lift towards the towards the end of the program. What was I gonna describe it as? I can't remember. But just so many beautiful lifts throughout this whole program. Beautiful music as well. They pick up very nice speed throughout the whole program. It starts off very slow, quiet, but then it does turn into rushing. It turns into more speed, turns into rushing, turns into I don't know. It's quite a nice, just a very nice temper to it. Just a very nice quiet sensation to the whole thing. It does feel quite holy in a sense. And then at the end of the program, they kind of end how they started with the whole sense of she's carrying him up by his knee, and it's a beautiful moment to see this like balance between their skates and their bodies, and just it's a very, I don't know, it's a very beautiful intimate program. I think it's a tense program almost, but it's very intimate. It's very beautiful. It's very close together. So yeah, definitely go check it out after you listen to this episode. Marina Anisina, Gwendo Pezarat of France, and their 1998 Winter Olympics Gala. Time to Say Goodbye, performed by good old Sarah Brightman and good old Andrea Bocelli. So yeah, let's head over to our main episode now. That was your program of the week. All right, everybody. So our main episode this week, I mean, it's an idea I've been thinking about for a while, but it had to wait until the perfect time. And I feel like this is kind of a filler time in the figure skating year, a filler time in, the figure skating season where we don't have a ton of stuff to discuss. But I think, and again, the season is over, so I can really do whatever I want. Right, I can really do whatever I want. And so the past few episodes in the month of May, late April, have kind of just been random episodes that I want to put together. Who cares if they're like fun or something? They're just things that I want to put together, things that I've been thinking about. I truly do think that one of the most common experiences of the figure skating community in the summertime is figure skating summer depression. I suffer from figure skating summer depression. I think a lot of people suffer from figure skating summer depression. What is it caused by? I don't know, but we're definitely gonna try to explore this and discuss this episode, what the symptoms are, what the cures are, etc. Of course, this is not a real substitute for any medical advice surrounding mental health or depression. It's kind of just about figure skating and kind of how to get over boredom and being sad that there is no figure skating. And so please seek out, mental health services for anything that you may need, of course. But anyway, I wanted to point out a funny example, I guess, of figure skating summer depression. Last week or earlier this week, there was a bug on the ISU website, the International Skating Union website, where it didn't show Finlandia Trophy as a Grand Prix, the Grand Prix in Finland that will be happening in the fall this year. And it was just a bug. It actually turned out to be just a bug, but in like the few hours that it didn't show Finlandia Trophy on the IC website. Everyone was speculating, oh my gosh, the Finnish Federation doesn't have money. Oh my gosh, figure skating dying in Finland. Oh my gosh, what city should host it now? Should it be Tallinn, Estonia? Should it be Kaunas in Lithuania? What if the UK gets a Grand Prix? What if Italy gets another Grand Prix? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. But yeah, everyone was completely frantic over this bug. Of course, people didn't know it was a bug, but people were frantic over that, Finlandia Trophy, the Grand Prix had seemingly disappeared with no explanation, and we were all freaking out over this. And I do feel like that shows how kind of desperate we are for figure skating content. We want figure skating news, we want exciting things to happen. And we're so focused, I guess, as a community that we are focusing on the ISU website and pointing out all the bugs and errors and speculating on what they might mean and things. I truly do think maybe that figure skating summer depression is actually worse after the Olympic season. And I say that because I feel like after the Olympics, during the Olympics, everyone is at such a huge like high wave of energy, high wave of everything. Like we are just so focused on figure skating, and figure skating makes up our entire lives during those 2 weeks. And then we have some time off, and then we have Worlds, and then that's it. And then you have this like crash of energy, crash of excitement because you were so excited for like a couple weeks, a couple months, maybe all the way from Europeans to Worlds, and then you crash right afterwards because there's literally nothing else, and yeah, you have to wait another 4 years for the Olympics. And so I truly do think that figure skating summer depression is more prevalent after the Olympic season because of that, because the Olympics are so exciting, and then afterwards you're like, oh, can't do it, don't want to watch anymore, blah 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 blah. Anyway, today I want to talk about kind of some of the symptoms, I guess, of or my personal symptoms of figure skating summer depression. And suggest some cures, suggest some remedies, suggest some treatments that we all could use and still feed our love for figure skating, even if there is no figure skating to watch, new figure skating to watch anyway, because there's certainly lots of old figure skating to watch. But no new figure skating to watch. What shall you do? That's what we're going to talk about in this episode. Let's talk about these symptoms. I do think that figure skating summer depression also as well affects mostly people who don't really follow a lot of other sports. I personally follow figure skating religiously and tennis on the side, I guess. Tennis occasionally, tennis maybe not ever. Barely tennis, I guess. And so I do think that, some people have summer sports to follow. Some people are into following. Gymnastics is a huge one in the figure skating community. I feel like those really go hand in hand. Some people really love following the gymnastics, rhythmic gymnastics, trampoline gymnastics, artistic gymnastics, whatever it may be. But, other people might have other summer sports that they like to follow. Tennis, for example. Maybe they like to follow, swimming maybe is a big summer sport. Maybe they do their own summer sports, and who knows, right? People who do other sports are probably less likely to have figure skating summer depression, quote unquote, because, they have other things to look forward to, other sports to watch, other things that they're interested in. Maybe not even sports. Maybe they're really into summer activities like hiking and stuff like that, or like the summer festival music scene or something. But anyway, regardless, some people like me just only have figure skating. Figure skating is their lifeline, their blood, their everything, and they don't have anything else but figure skating. And it makes them a little sad in the summertime. Some of your symptoms, you might be lying in bed crying like me because again, no competitions to watch until literally August, which is crazy. Like that we don't get anything to watch from April to August, like 4-ish months, 4.5 months maybe. Um, yeah, you're just lying in bed, you're crying, thinking about how you can't watch anything until August. You might just feel like, oh, you might just feel like, oh my god, there's no figures getting to watch. What am I going to do? You might be scared to open up YouTube or open up social media because you'll just find some random recap from the Olympics or a recap from World or some random edit that will make you miss skating so much. What other symptoms? Yeah, you just might be sad. You might not feel like talking to other people about figure skating anymore. People might be wondering. I feel like, hey, has anything happened? That's happened to me. Some people wonder, like, hey, anything happened in the figure skating world recently? I'm like, no. It's the summer. The ice melted. But yeah, of course, there's a lot of fun. Not fun. There's a lot of interesting symptoms that I feel like come along with the whole figure skating summer depression. But I would like to tell you in this episode, don't you fret, don't worry, because I'm here to tell you a lot of different suggestions for how to solve, I guess, how to remedy your figure skating summer depression. Because even if there is no new competitions, new things to watch, new programs, new everything, there is still so much that you can do to feed your love for figure skating. I think one of the main obvious ones is to watch old competitions. I mean, if there's no new competitions, I feel like a good thing is to go watch old competitions. Sometimes I feel like programs are even better the second time you watch them around, the second time you watch that particular performance, because I don't know, maybe you notice more things about it, the more small things about it. Um, Me, for example, I definitely want to rewatch all of the 2026 Winter Olympics so bad this summer because I feel like that is something I just want to process again that the Olympics even happened. And there's parts of those competitions I haven't watched yet. I would love to watch through, all of the men's shirt program, for example, maybe all the pair shirt program. Maybe I want to rewatch the team event, things that, I was a little too busy when they were actually happening and I couldn't watch them. So, I want to rewatch all the Olympics really bad. Um, especially focus on maybe watching older competitions that you haven't watched yet. If you've only been a fan like me for the past couple years, the past couple of seasons, maybe you've only become a fan since the 2026 Winter Olympics. maybe you want to, watch some really old competitions. Go back to 2022 Winter Olympics, or maybe go back to 1998 Winter Olympics, for example. I do feel like maybe a lot of fans that are entering the sport now, maybe they don't get a lot of exposure to a lot of the classic competitions of the 90s. So many big performances in the 90s that are still heavily referenced in the figure skating community today, heavily known in the figure skating community today. And so maybe watching older competitions will help you understand those things more when they do come up in discussion, when they do come up in different forums on the internet about figure skating. Yeah, lots of classics from the 1990s, 1980s, the 2000s, the 2010s that are not in this same era of figure skating as we are in right now. YouTube fortunately has a ton of older competitions archived by tons of different accounts. I mean, the older the competition, I feel like the less likely. I mean, it's really hard to find footage, of course, from like the 1960s maybe, but I feel like there's a lot of good archive footage from the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and now, more officially in the 2010s. So definitely in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, there is tons of people who have archived a lot of old competitions. They might be a little blurry, they might be a little yikes. I remember when TV was that blurry, but definitely fun to watch those. You can watch specific skaters' performances. One of my favorites to rewatch time and time again is Chen Liu and her 1996 World's Free Skate to Rachmaninoff Piano Concerto Number Two. It's so good. I mean, I wasn't alive in 1996 to watch it, but I wish I was because I think I would have cried, honestly. Um, but there's also tons of skaters that I think are still household names today, or not household names, but tons of skaters who are super well known today that you might want to learn more about. I mean, Michelle Kwan is a great example. What else? Brian Boitano and Brian Orser's whole conflict in the 80s is a great thing to go rewatch or watch the first time, of course. You might want to watch the Battle of the Carmens, the infamous Battle of the Carmens in 1988 between Katarina Witt and Debbie Thomas, for example. I mean, there's so many big things, big moments. The 1994 Olympics with Oksana Baiul and all of the old skaters, Brian Boitano, Katarina Witt, Torvill and Dean returning back at the 1994 Olympics. Understand why that was a cool moment in figure skating. I mean, I think there's just, with so much skating, thousands and thousands and thousands of performances over the years, there is just so much that you can rewatch, so much that you can watch for the first time from every single year, every single competition. I mean, just have at it, right? Have at it. And it's great to see how older skaters skated, techniques, the moves at the time. It's always super interesting. All right, connecting to the idea of watching old competitions, I also think it's super interesting to learn about the history of figure skating because figure skating itself is a super duper interesting sport. I mean, it isn't a sport that I guess was just invented out of the blue in modern period. I mean, I guess it was, but I don't know. I'm trying to get at the idea that ice skating itself has existed for, I don't know, millennia probably, and people have been moving around on ice for years and years and years and years. Figure skating itself probably started, I think, into like the late 1800s with the idea that, moving around the ice and maybe doing a cool turns and a few jumps here and there would be an interesting idea. The development of the sport with a lot of a lot of those early feats by Jackson Haynes, the father of figure skating, Bruce Mapes, the inventor of the toe loop, Ulrich Salchow, the inventor of the Salchow. How did those things happen in the early 1900s? How did people figure out how to jump this way or that way? And those are still things that have very modern repercussions today, right? um, the history of figure skating in that regard is super interesting. Maybe you want to learn about early competitions, how figure skating used to be super duper focused on just moving around. It didn't even have music back then. They used to do a thing called special figures where you would literally draw pictures into the ice. Maybe you want to learn about how women began to have a bigger impact on figure skating, how this sport was originally a men's only sport. Women started entering men's categories, and then they started a whole new category for women to compete as well. And women's rise in figure skating, making women's singles probably the most prominent discipline even nowadays. You might move into the middle of the 1600s, the middle of the 1900s, where instead of just men's and women's and early pairs, they had ice dance. You might want to learn about the introduction of ice dance, how ice dance was inspired by ballroom dancing, how the early dance teams really tried to transfer traditional dancing techniques onto the ice, which is super interesting as well. You might want to learn about the very complicated history of compulsory figures, difficult turns and patterns on the ice that skaters would literally carve, how it used to be a mandatory thing for all men and women single skaters to do in every competition, to draw these intricate compulsory figures into the ice and see who had the best skating skills. But it was extremely boring and nobody really liked them. So then they phased them out and they ended them by the 1990s. And so that is something interesting how figure skating. I remember I learned from Jeopardy once that figure skating was, got its name from the art of compulsory figures, but it has now phased out compulsory figures and it's no longer it no longer has a sport what the original namesake was. And of course, there's tons of different, drama over the years, so many controversies over the years. I mean, tons of conflict, tons of drama. I mean, Battle of the Bryans in 1988, Battle of the Carmens in 1988. Um, Battle of the Bryans, Battle of the Carmens, and of course, there's tons of like negative history as well. The whole Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan case. There's so much drama, for example, at the 2002 Winter Olympics and the judging of the pairs event, leading to the modern scoring system that we have today. All the drama associated with the 6.0 system, the history of racism maybe in figure skating, with Sarah Bonnelly being one of the main victims of that, one of the main people who spoke out against that in figure skating, the history of bribing and judging, the history of jumps themselves. I mean, there's so many interesting moments in figure skating where, oh, this person landed the first double jump, this person landed the first triple jump, we got the first triple axel, we got the first quad toe loop, we got the first triple axel from a women's at the Olympics. We have all these very special moments in the history of jumping and figure skating that are notable up to now, of course, with Ilya Malinin and the quad axel back in 2022. You could also, research and learn about the different rule changes in history over the years, regarding maybe what's happening on the ice, how skaters skate, but also costume rules. Costume rules have been super interesting in figure skating. The Katarina rule, prohibited all these like outfits that the judges didn't like. They didn't like women wearing trousers, women wearing pants. But then we also had changes in the rule, like the recent age change back at the 2022 year, changing the age requirement to be a senior to be 17 instead, things like that, right? Lots of controversies, lots of rule changes over the years in figure skating, and it's totally interesting to learn about the history of figure skating. I know a few podcasts like the Run Through with Adam Rippon, Ashley Wagner, and the not Olympic champion Sarah Hughes. Has kind of have they've all kind of discussed the history of figure skating through each of the different disciplines, and that's a super interesting thing that you should totally research as well. So if you're a history nerd, if you're interested in learning about the background and history of figure skating, I mean, I think you have a whole exciting thing to do this summer before you head into a new season. All right. Another thing to do is to engage in figure skating communities. I think it's great to know that people are in solidarity with you when you suffer from figure skating summer depression. I think other people are definitely suffering as well. I mean, genuinely, so many people have been like, oh my God, what do I do? Tons of people are bored as well. Tons of people are doing Throwback Thursdays. Tons of people are doing things like, do you remember when, or what was your favorite program so that I can go rewatch that program, things like that. I'm telling you, people are very much bored as well. People are very much interested in hearing what other people feel or other people are feeling right now about figure skating and how boring it is. Reddit has tons and tons of news. That's what I would recommend is the Prime figure skating community. I mean, Right now, I feel like the figure skating Reddit is really focused on discussing different skaters' retirements. After the Olympic season, there's been so many skaters who have retired, and I will definitely get around to discussing those retirements. Definitely, 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 I promise. But retirements in the figure skating community have been a big thing posted on the Reddit recently, the subreddit recently. There's also been the announcement of new teams, a split of teams in pairs and ice dance. One of the teams that joined together yesterday was Shoma Uno and Marin Honda from Japan. Everyone is shocked by that, but yes, Kari Sakamoto announced that she actually got married, and I never would have known that without Reddit being there as well. So there's tons of things to do. Engage in figure skating communities. I do find subreddit or the Reddit to be, more supportive than other places. You can ask all your dumb questions, ask your questions, tons of wiki information available to learn from. Tons of people who are just as passionate about figure skating as you are or you have been. Maybe you're a new fan, maybe you're a fan of 10 years and you just never found that community. I think an online community is great. There's tons of news on Reddit all the time, tons of discussion, and people who are fairly supportive for the most part, I would say. That being said, I wouldn't go on somewhere like Twitter because figure skating Twitter is notoriously a toxic place to be. Lots of people very passionate about this skater or that skater, and they are not very positive. So, pick and choose your figure skating communities. A lot of websites like Golden Skate also have kind of old style online forums, which are filled with many, many positive people who are, very much a fan of a certain skater or they're following the career of one skater over another or not over another of one particular skater, and you might be interested in that kind of thing as well. Instagram is also honestly kind of toxic, not gonna lie. But there's figure skating content there as well. Yeah, what other places are there for communities? I'm sure there's a Discord out there somewhere, things like that. I think engaging in a figure skating community is online community is great. Yes, 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 great. Alrighty. You might want to also engage in, figure skating content. There's lots of podcasts, like a certain one that you are listening literally to right now as we speak. I think it would be great if you listen to this podcast. But yeah, there's tons of podcasts out there that discuss figure skating, just like mine, a Teen Talk Skating podcast. I mean, I have 120 other episodes that you can listen to, a whole backlog, a whole catalog of episodes that you can listen to. But other podcasts, for example, that I love, Jackie Wong is rocker skating, and he is just the the biggest icon of the figure skating fandom. I feel like he has a very professional podcast where he's been doing interviews, I believe, with Waka Higuchi, Aoki, different, very high profile skaters in the skating world that would never want to interview with me, but it's fine. I'm kidding. But yeah, rocker skating, go check him out as well. The run through, as I mentioned earlier, with Olympic champions, not Olympic champions, Olympic medalists, Anna Rippon, with Olympic medalist Ashley Wagner, and the not Olympic champion, but very, very very, very helpful production host, Sarah Hughes, on the run through is a very funny, it's kind of inappropriate, I know, but they're a very funny podcast. I don't know if they are uploading through the summer, but I do know that they have had a ton of episodes about the history of figure skating, drama and figure skating, what else? And, they also do competition reviews just like I do, etc. There's tons of podcasts out there. Just search up figure skating into wherever you listen to wherever you listen to podcasts, and I'm sure you will find one out there. There's also tons of different blogs, tons of websites, tons of interviews, etc. out there. I think Golden Skate is the most well-known place for all of these. They do tons of interviews with skaters about not just their career, honestly, but about their lives, about what their personal lives are like. They play different, not games, but they play different, little A through Z questions with figure skaters, and it's really fun to watch or to read. Sorry. Websites like So You Want to Watch Figure Skating are also helpful as well to find new information with skaters. The ISU is always posting about different skaters and interviewing them as well. Um, yeah. What else? What else? What else? I think that's kind of it for websites, at least the ones that I use. What's the other one? International Figure Skating Magazine, I believe, is still up and running. They're still doing a thing. So yeah, if you're into that kind of thing, I think that would be great. Engage in kind of in a reading or a writing thing. I don't know. Alrighty, friends. Okay, next up. Alrighty, next up. Next up, I think this is a really big important one is to follow your favorite figure skaters, not stalk them. Please don't stalk them. That's creepy. Follow your favorite figure skaters as in follow them online on their Facebook, on their Twitter, on their Instagram and whatnot. I mean, tons of skaters, love to give updates about their summer vacation. Oh my gosh. Carolina Costner, you're in Mexico, I guess. I made that up. Oh my gosh, so and so went to Florida. Whoa, my gosh, that person just got married. Things like that. I mean, figure skaters obviously are not just skating 24/7. They have lives as well. Tons of skaters graduating from school, tons of skaters getting a job, tons of skaters starting a family, tons of skaters getting married, tons of skaters going on vacation as we do. And, just like we need a vacation in the summer, figure skaters certainly need a vacation too. But there's things like that, of course, but there's also other things regarding new programs, new coaches, new everything for the season. I mean, there's been a couple of skaters who have already announced what music they're doing in figure skating next season, what programs they're considering. Maybe they've switched coaches, they've announced new coaching partnerships with a new coach, they're announcing who is choreographing their program, they're announcing the music for their next program. They're showing off the new costume for their new program, a new concept. They're, discussing all these very important things for the next season or the seasons beyond that. Would be a great example. Just recently, the Canadian figure skater Gabrielle Dielman announced that she is competing just for one more season, and she is hopefully ending. Well, not hopefully, she is going to end her singles career in 2027 at the Canadian Nationals in Mississauga. So that's something interesting. Matteo Rizzo is continuing, has announced that in an interview, I believe that he is continuing his figure skating career. The Italian figure skater Matteo Rizzo, who famously helped Team Italy clutch win a bronze in the team event at the Olympics in 2026 back in February. And he is continuing, which is super interesting because I think a lot of people were convinced that he was going to retire. He actually previously gave interviews saying that he was going to retire, but just announced on his social media or on something else that he is continuing. I don't have any particular programs in mind. I know, there's been recent announcements from skaters like Emily Azingas and Vadim Kolesnik. I don't know if this is confirmed, but I believe they said somewhere that they're doing Bolero for their free dance, which will be interesting, and stuff like that. I mean, there's been so many announcements. Lots of skaters announcing, yes, I'm working with Shaylin Bourne, I'm working with Benoit Richaud for my choreography for my program, for my Lori. I'm working with Lori Nickel or Sandra Bezic, people like that are very, of course, very high profile in the figure skating world. So yeah, you can get all these, stories about summer vacation, but maybe also all this new information. A lot of skaters also at the end of the season do a cute little post for their, season recap. This is what I did in this season. Thank you for all your support, things like that. You might also want to follow individual skating schools or coaches like Stefan Lambiel loves and loves and loves to post something called a step of the month where he teaches you, or a skater that he teaches the audience how to do a fancy set of steps for a step sequence, which is really interesting. Yeah, I mean, there's just so much content out there, so much things that these figure skaters are posting about in their lives. I mean, lots of things, right? Maybe they're getting married, maybe they're getting a new program. Who knows? There's always something new. All right, this is a top one. This is a top one. I feel like I could really make a whole. I don't know. Have I made a whole episode about this? Have I made a whole episode about this? I could make a whole episode about this. In fact, I'm gonna put that on the list of ideas for sure. I think one of the things you should always be seeking to do is to convert. You should be converting a friend to watching figure skating with you. I think that's a great summer activity for you to do. Hey, I'm crazy and passionate about figure skating. Let me convert a friend to it as well. So then you can watch competitions with them. Maybe they're watching the Olympics for the first time, but you're watching it for the second time. You can use your expert knowledge and experience in the first time around to teach your friend about figure skating as well, the sport, how it works and everything, how the crazy scoring system works. I always, of course, try to convert my friends, but it always fails because truly nobody likes figure skating as much as I do, and I'm crazy about this sport. But yeah, convert a friend to figure skating is always a great summer thingy to do. Summer thing, I don't know, summery thing, I don't know. And of course, that friend can then go on to follow figure skaters. That friend can then go on to support the sport of figure skating, share content with you, think about other things with you, etc. Learn about the history of figure skating with you, rewatch old competitions with you, and it's great to have a friend as well. But of course, you could find a friend. It doesn't have to be a friend you already have. Maybe make a friend online, make a friend in the figure skating communities to discuss figure skating with. Yeah. All right. I think another great idea is to make a figure skating playlist. Um, and I don't know, that can really entail anything. Put together a cute playlist on, Spotify, on the Apple Music, on YouTube of whatever program you use of your favorite music from figure skating. I mean, maybe there's a certain singer, not a singer, a certain song from figure skating that you learned and you want to put it on a playlist. Maybe you want to make your own playlist, like your own dream figure skater playlist. A ton of people have a list of songs that they wish that figure skaters would skate to, and maybe you want to make a cute list like that. What other lists of music people do? Yeah, songs that they've heard from figure skating. I have one of those kind of things. I add songs I learned from figure skating to other things. And of course, as you watch, old competitions, as you watch new competitions, add to this playlist. And, it's a great thing to have this playlist to listen to and remember, oh my gosh, I remember Ilya Malinin skating to this music. I remember Alyssa Liu skating to this music. Or I remember Michelle Kwan skating to this music. And it was so beautiful, etc. And, maybe you go dance to that music. Maybe you just sit down and listen to that music. Maybe you play it as you study, play it as you work, play it as you exercise this summer and get that summer body that you always wanted. Yeah. Alrighty. What else? Okay. So yeah, do that. Maybe you want to use that figure skating playlist and you want to listen to it as you go skating yourself. I mean, I feel like the obvious thing to do if you're a big fan of figure skating, but there's nothing to watch. Maybe you yourself want to try to go figure skating and try some skating and learn how to skate yourself. Of course, if you can, it's definitely not accessible sport for sure. I personally live in an area where there is not another ice rink for about 30 minutes, which is not as long as definitely a lot of people out there. A lot of people, have to travel hours and hours to get to the nearest skating rink and get lessons. But I truly do think that, figure skating is a sport with a lot of fans watching, but, a lot of people get encouraged. And even if you aren't encouraged by watching figure skating to go skating yourself, maybe you just want to try. Maybe it's just something you want to do for fun. With your friends is a great thing. With your family is a great thing. I mean, learn to do what your favorites do or try to learn to do what your favorites do. Because in my experience, you will very much quickly, and I mean very, very quickly, you will quickly be humbled, and I mean very humbled, by how difficult skating on the ice is. I mean, it's not even figure skating when you're just starting. It's basically just standing on ice and trying to move and hopefully and hoping that you don't fall. But yeah, go skating if you can. Go explore what it's like to become a figure skater of your own. Go explore what it's like to maybe take a lesson and pretend that you are a figure skater yourself. All right, another one I want to talk about is to go to a ice skating show, a figure skating show of any kind. A lot of them are kind of sold out in the summertime, but if you, maybe purchase a ticket earlier in the year, um, going to a show is a great thing. I really do want to go to a show. I mean, right now, the entire US Olympics figure skating team is on the Stars on Ice tour. And so you have skaters like Alyssa Liu and Ilya Malinin and all of these different skaters coming to places around you. Last week, they were very close to where I am. Looking at their schedule now, they're going to be in Seattle tomorrow. They're going to be in Portland. They're going to be in Arizona. They're touring all over the country in Texas and Missouri. And yeah, it'll be great. I believe tickets are already all sold out. I don't know actually. I'm gonna check. Maybe if I want to fly to Missouri to watch, would I still be able to? Would I still be able to Ticketmaster? Oh wait, actually yes. Oh wow, there are seats. But yeah, if you want to go to a local show, I don't actually think tickets are outrageously expensive to go watch figure skating at an ice show like Stars on Ice. I mean, compared to like an NBA game or compared to like an NFL game, I can't imagine it's like that crazy. I mean, some of these tickets, not the best seats probably, but they're $50. Better seats around $80. Um, things like that in Missouri, at least. Other places definitely different. But yeah, I mean, there's tons of places to go to. They have a Stars on Ice tour in Japan that they did earlier as well. They did the Stars on Ice tour in the US. They have a Stars on Ice tour in Canada as well that has ended. But yeah, go watch some of your favorite skaters. It doesn't have to be a competition, it could just be a simple figure skating show. And it's a beautiful thing to go watch and support some of your favorite skaters in that as well. Always an engaging opportunity. And some of these places even do meet and greets. Maybe if you might have to purchase a ticket, honestly, but you might be able to meet and greet with some of your favorite figure skaters, give them some gifts, ask them to autograph a picture of themselves, ask them to autograph your skates and your skate guards, give them a little plushie. I saw a post the other week about someone giving some of the Stars on Ice skaters plushies. I mean, who would resist the opportunity to meet Alyssa Liu or like Amber Glenn right in person at a meet and greet? That'd be crazy. Would be a dream. Would be a dream. You might also want to what is it? Buy merchandise at these skating shows to go to Stars on Ice and buy some merchandise from your favorite figure skaters. I mean, the list goes on and on. So many things you can do at the ice show. It'll be fun. Go with your friends. Go with your family. You're not gonna break your bank, maybe like an expensive competition like the Olympics would be, but you'll still have a chance to watch some figure skating from one of the, or not one, but a lot of the top figure skaters in the world, and some exciting programs that they don't show in competition, but they do show in but they do show on an ice show, for example. I don't know. I can't think of anything else. You might want to try a skating adjacent activity. Maybe you aren't into figure skating itself. Maybe you want to try out some roller skating. Maybe you want to try out some dance or some ballet. Maybe you want to learn an instrument because you heard a song from figure skating and you want to learn how to play that on the instrument that's played on. I don't know. The limits are not non-existent, the possibilities are endless. Can we say that? The limits are non-existent, the possibilities are endless. That makes sense. That actually makes sense. So yeah, to summarize, there are 5 trillion things you can do to learn about um not to learn about. There's 5 million trillion billion things that you can do to cure your figure skating summer depression. Instead of lying in bed and maybe crying because there's no figure skating, don't fret. You could rewatch old competitions with your friends and families, rewatch ones that you've never watched, rewatch ones that you've already watched once. Maybe you want to learn about the history of figure skating, how the sport started and how did it get to now. Start being on a figure skating community, engage in different podcasts or read different blogs and websites. Follow your favorite figure skaters on Instagram, Facebook, and whatnot. Learn about their summer plans and their programs. Make a friend watch figure skating. Make a figure skating playlist. Go figure skating yourself. Go watch figure skating at a nice summer ice show, etc. And lastly, wait for Grand Prix assignments to come out. Grand Prix assignments come out usually in the middle of June, and I will be talking about them as always. And I don't know exactly when they will come out, but whenever they do, I certainly will be talking about them. But yeah, that's basically all for this week's episode of the Teen Toss Game podcast. My name is Zago. I hope you enjoyed me ranting about how you can cure your figure skating summer depression. A bit of a shorter episode today, but don't mind for sure. It's still a great episode and still a great thing to help you all cure your figure skating summer depression. Almost, of course, the summertime for me, almost, geographically, logistically, astronomically the summertime. So we're getting closer to the real summer. Next week, I will be doing, I always try to do a cute little like lessons from life and lessons from figure skating episode around the end of the school year. And so I'll do that. The lessons that I've learned from life, the lessons that I've learned from figure skating, and then the summertime. So yeah, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Teen Hall Singing Podcast. My name is Mango. I hope you enjoyed me ranting about figure skating summer depression and how to cure it. And I will see you next week for a very, very cool episode about my thoughts on life and figure skating. I know, so dramatic. And bye bye.